Hey everyone. So as you notice, I am not using my Blue Yeti microphone because it fucking decided to kill itself. So I'm using my handheld mic, but I use these for my other videos. I'm not recording from my H4 though. I am doing USB recording, so it's probably not going to sound as good as my H4 recordings, but whatever. Regardless, with that discrepancy out of the way, we are going to be talking about Ninja Turtles, specifically all the Ninja Turtles content I have consumed, and I have consumed quite a bit. Ninja Turtles is one of my favorite fucking franchises of all time. It's just such a weird and odd concept, but it oddly just works. Like you just say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and you think for a second, and then you're like, no, that sounds dope. Um, yeah, I've been a Turtles fan ever since I was a kid. The iteration I grew up with was the 2003 one, which we will get to, as long as my hair doesn't go fucking crazy. Um, but yeah, I've been an avid Turtles fan ever since I was a kid. TV shows, video games, movies, comics, especially. For those of you who don't know, I'm just going to go over the basic story of how like the turtles were invented. So, Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman were two, I believe they were college dropouts, and they were deeply inspired by Jack Kirby, who was a very famous illustrator at the time. He illustrated Fantastic Four, um, and a lot of Marvel stuff. Created the new gods like Darkseid and stuff, and Orion and stuff like that. Um, so they were deeply inspired by his art and his kind of creativity. So the story goes, they get pizza, they're getting drunk, and they're trying to come up with comic book ideas. Um, because they just developed Mirage Studios, which was literally just a little studio in their apartment that they lived in together with. Um, and one day, I believe it's Kevin Eastman um, that kind of drew a turtle with ninja weapons, and then Peter Laird followed that up with another turtle with ninja weapons, and then sure enough, that's how the Ninja Turtles were made. Here's the original image on top, and then they created the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The first copy um, sold out almost immediately. The second copy, same thing. Like if you see the second printing of the first issue, it still goes for like thousands of dollars. Because those first printings are super rare because they were independent studios, so they could only print out like maybe 2,000 copies or something like that. So that's why they're so rare. But yes, ever since then, Playmates Toys said, "Hey, we want to create action figures based on," or they sold the idea to Playmates Toys, saying, "Would you be interested in making action figures out of this?" They said yes. Developed a TV show, and that TV show took off, and the toy line took off, and then after that, the Ninja Turtles are household names. Yada yada yada. So yeah, and I am super hyped for Mutant Manhattan, Mutants in Manhattan. I forget what it's called, but it looks super dope. I cannot wait. They actually sound like teenagers, which, like, in a lot of these iterations, they don't. Well, they sound like teenagers, but like not actual teenagers. They sound like voice actors like pretending to be teenagers, whereas like no, in the new one they are actually like teenagers, like they're children. But anyways, with all that said or done, let's start with the show. So we're gonna start with the original 1980s show, the 1980s cartoon. I'll be honest, and this might be a sin. Again, I didn't grow up on these turtles, and it was only in like high school and now like my mid. Oh God, I'm 25. I'm in my mid 20s that I watched the original 80s one, and it's basically just to sell toy commercials. What I will say is that the later seasons, the Red Sky series gets kind of dark. It kind of turns into like Batman the Animated Series, which is very funny. To think like Turtles getting a little darker and more serious. But overall, the show is just kind of episodic. Like oh, now we fight this monster, buy the action figure. Now we fight this monster, buy the action figure, and that goes for all Turtles things. Like every Turtles show, comic, whatever, is trying to sell you some kind of Ninja Turtles memorabilia. So let's just get that right out of the way. This one, a lot of the TV shows are more obvious with it. But I mean, it's fine. Raphael is doesn't really get into his like mean self until a couple series later on. Um, and Leo is like a goody two shoes. Donatello is the smart one. Michelangelo is the party dude. But they're all generally like have good vibes to them. It's just a comfort food type of show. It's just very, the plot's not anything to write home about or anything, but you put it on in the background. Maybe you're editing something, maybe you're doing chores, something like that, and you just have a good time. You don't have to pay attention to it. The animation is crap because it was made for very cheap, because they just need to crank out these seasons. I would put it in cool. I think what it does for the series is great, but looking at it from like the actual show's standpoint, it's nothing to write home about. But like it created like the colored bandanas and putting the first initial of their names on their belts. Because before that in the comic books, whenever they decide, the original comics were all black and white, but when they decide to do colored covers, they were all red bandanas. So the only way you could really tell the difference was through seeing their weapons, basically. Like if the one of them had swords, that one's obviously Leonardo. But the show invented the colored headbands and stuff like that, which, whatever executive came up with that fucking great idea, and then that's even integrated itself in the comic books now. So, yeah. And then we have the anime. Yes, there was a Ninja Turtles anime. It's like 2 OVAs. I kind of lumped them all into one thing. They're an interesting watch. One, they have like Power Rangers type armor. It's not bad. It's just kind of fun to look at. I would put it at the bottom of cool because it's not like awful or anything. It's just kind of weird. And this picture isn't actually of the anime. It's just of the prequel manga. I couldn't really get a good picture off the anime thing. So if I'm editing in this post, here's the actual anime pictures that I'm talking about. It's just kind of a cool novel thing. That's about it, though. Then we have Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation. This was the live-action TV show that was, I think, produced by the same people who make like Power Rangers and stuff like that. This belongs in What the Shell, not only because it is bad, not just because they added a female turtle, the Mona Lisa, but because in doing that, it literally broke up Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird's relationship. Kevin Eastman was okay with the idea. Peter Laird was like, absolutely not. So I believe Kevin Eastman bought out of the franchise after that point, wanted to do his own thing. He's younger than Peter Laird. Peter Laird was a lot older than Kevin Eastman, so he wanted to be a hotshot and stuff like that. Eventually, but he was always a consultant throughout like all the series and stuff like that. So he didn't completely abandon the Turtles. But eventually he bought his shares back when the 2012 Ninja Turtles came back and wrote for the IDW series. So Kevin Eastman is very much more involved now, even though he left originally because of creative differences. But since then, Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman have reconciled, and they're friends now. Yay! Then we have a goated series, 2003's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, I'm not going to lie. I am extremely, extremely biased when it comes to this show. This is the one I grew up on, and it adapts the original Mirage comic book storylines so faithfully. And it's not afraid to go to dark places, too. It's so good. The only thing I have a huge gripe with is the last 2 seasons are very bad. That would be Fast Forward, where they go into the future. It's just dumb and pointless. And then back to the sewers where they did the redesigns that looked awful. I think they were trying to do the TMNT movie kind of look, but it just doesn't work in 2D animation. That being said, everything else about it is great, so I'm conflicted between putting it in Turtle Power and Cowabunga. I really want to save for Turtle Power for like the perfect Ninja Turtle thing. Um, that being said, I think I'm going to put it in Turtle Power. I'm going to put that there. It might be blind nostalgia, but let's just admit it. Like, Ninja Turtles is blind nostalgia. Ninja Turtle plays on your nostalgia. That's the whole fucking point of the thing. I think I'm gonna leave it up there. I'm gonna like Turtle Power is my S tier. I think I'm gonna. Usually, I like to reserve S tier, like not be so heavy with it. But I think for this one, for this list especially, I'm gonna be heavy with the S tier stuff because I love Ninja Turtles. Then we have the 2012 CGI series. You know what? Let me talk about the 2003 one a little bit more. I love Raphael's voice actor. He's fantastic. Every voice actor fits the character really fucking good. Yes, Raphael is my favorite, and his voice actor is that's my Raphael right there. That's awesome. He's so hot-headed and aggressive, and it's just yes. Leonardo is really good. Donatello's voice acting is awesome. Michelangelo is I believe no, he's not. Never mind. But he plays like a lot of surfer dudes and stuff like that. In like animated stuff. Just it's so good. And Splinter is really good in that series. Shredder is like the most threatening, besides the 1990 movie, the most threatening Shredder kind of put on screen. Well, the 2012 one is also very threatening as well. But I mean, both of these are just like they're oh god, it's so good. Um, and then the 2012, I don't know if I want to put it ahead of 2003. I think it does beat it, because it is just a solid show. You know what? Okay, I love the 2003 one. It is my personal favorite. It's the goated, but game has to recognize game, and like the 2012 Ninja Turtles show. I mean, it's so great. When it first came out, it was like, oh, CGI Ninja Turtles that sucks ass or whatever, but like it is very very good. And eventually Seth Green gets to voice Leonardo, and he does a great job. The guy who did Raphael's voice in the 1980s voices Donatello, and it's such a perfect fit. Raphael's voice is really great. Michelangelo is the same voice actor who plays Beast Boy, and that's just the most perfect fit. Splinter is really good. It takes risks too. It goes there. I think I like the 2003 one a lot also because it really follows the comic books, whereas this 2012 one is kind of a mixture of comic book and the original 1980 show. But it is really good, and for anyone who wants to watch or get into Ninja Turtles as a TV show, both these series are on Paramount Plus. I believe the 80s one is too, or you could buy here. I actually have them right here. The 2003 one, you can only go through Paramount Plus. They don't really like to promote that one because it was owned by I forget who it was owned by, but it wasn't owned by Nickelodeon at the time. Nickelodeon only really wants to produce stuff that they own. But if you want the 80s Turtles, this collection is very good. It's the classic collection. It's just a literal box that they just threw all the DVDs in. But it's pretty cheap. Same goes with the 2012 one. I have this one. Even though I have Paramount Plus, I didn't before, and I don't have it. My parents have it. So once I move out, I'm not paying for Paramount Plus. So this is the way I'll consume Turtles. And you can find the 2003 one. There's some rips on YouTube. You can totally fucking if you already own the DVDs, that is perfectly fine to maybe browse YouTube, possibly to maybe find the 2003 Ninja Turtles if you just look it up on the YouTube search. I'm not saying you should. It is an option. Anyways, so that my thought on the 2012 Ninja Turtles. It's great. It's goated. It's one of the greatest like Ninja Turtles content ever. Then we have the rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I kind of lumped this one in with the movie as well. They're kind of annoying a little bit. I like them later on. I like them a lot more. I don't like Splinter. I don't find it very funny. It's just very. It's kind of like it's got a little. The humor's a little bit Teen Titans Go, but don't shut it down completely because the animation and the action in this, holy shit! It's on Studio Trigger level of animation, and no one ever believes me when I tell them this. I've yet to show them clips of it, but like, and I'm not going to show clips here because like Nickelodeon will copyright my ass. But it's spectacular. The anime, especially in the movie. Holy shit, it's so good. Um, but I mean, it's good. It's more of a comedy show than it is an actual action show. But that animation is so good. But literally, the animation is the saving grace of it, though. I feel like so. I'll just put in rad with the caveat, like the animation is like S tier out of all these, like the 2012 and 2003 one. Like it's not even a competition. Um, but moving on from that, we have the anime movie that kind of caps off the 2003 series, Turtles Forever. I'll put this one in um, rad as well. It kind of makes fun of the 2018 Turtles a lot, which is a little disrespectful, but I still love it. And that surprise at the end where um, the 1980 Ninja Turtles and 2003 Turtles meet the original comic book Turtles, like the black or white ones, and like the 2003 Raph is such. Like in that show, he's like really hard edge. He's like, "Oh, I love these guys," but even the comic book Ninja Turtles are like scaring him a little bit. Um, it's so cool to see. Cause yeah, no, in the original comics they were really intense, which we'll get into. Um, like it was not made for kids stuff. Like that 1980 television show was like, all right, we have this graphic, violent comic. How do we make this into a fun adventure? So yeah. Then we have the 1990s Ninja Turtle movie. This movie at the time was the most successful independent film of all time, if you can believe that. And I mean, I love this movie. I could watch it over and over. Still, as an adult today, I can quote like a bunch of lines from it. Like this was my favorite turtle things at the time, besides the 2003 one. I would still say it's a little below it, but yeah, I love this movie. And Jim Henson, the Jim Henson Workshop created the animatronic, or they're not animatronic, but the suits that they had to fight in. You know, they actually had to choreograph fights in those suits, and those suits were heavy, and they would pass out from sweat from being in those suits so much. And they work incredibly well. Like it never takes me out that these are like people in costumes. It's honestly the costume design is fantastic. It's on another tier. Um, it's not even it's so good. But yeah, the 1990s original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it borrows a ton the um from the comic books, even including the first couple storylines. Like they go to the farm afterwards and everything like that. Like that's all in the comics. And it's dark and like so leading into Secret of the Ooze, it was so intense and dark and violent that like parents did nothing but complain about it. So Secret of the Ooze is a very different tone from the original 1998 or sorry 1990 movie. That's why they don't use their weapons as much. They use yo-yos instead of like nunchucks and stuff like that. Leonardo doesn't really use his swords all that much. Raphael doesn't use his size at all. Like it's it's very much kiddie because adults complained about it, and Super Shredder and all that stuff. Well, I do remember it as a kid. Looking back at it now, it's just kind of it's still a fun watch, but it's just like I don't know. It's just kind of cool. I'll still watch it. I'll still enjoy it, but like it's just so apparent. Like it's such a tone shift from like the awesomeness that was that 1990 original movie. It's yeah. Then we have Turtles in Time, or well, no, that's the name of the video game. Sorry, uh, Ninja Turtles 3. This one is bad. The Next Generation isn't going to move because that's literally what broke up the original duo that created the Ninja Turtles. So that belongs at top of what the shell. Yeah, but yeah, no, this movie is really bad. The outfits are obviously a step down from the Jim Henson creations, which I think Jim Henson's last um, costumes or anything that they ever did was Secret of the Ooze, and then the original um, Jim Henson died. Um, R.I.P. Rest in peace to the goat. But the Jim Henson Workshop still is up and running, and they're actually making the new FNAF movie, which is pretty cool. But yeah, no, Ninja Turtles 3 really bad. They travel back in time to Japan for some reason. Terrible effects, terrible costumes, terrible choreography. It's fun to laugh with a bunch of friends, but if you're watching it by yourself, you're like, this is not for anyone. Then we have the Coming Out of the Shells tour. This is I'll show some images here. They actually went there was a musical like band group of dudes in Ninja Turtle costumes just singing songs and stuff. And I remember distinctly in the library when I was a kid, like I would always rent this video for some reason. I was just in love with it. I will put this I guess in the middle. I don't know. Um, it's dumb and stupid. I'm never gonna watch it again, but it's just like funny to see those awful outfits, and it's the true commercialism of Ninja Turtles at its finest. Um, then we have the CGI 2007, I believe it's 2007 TMNT movie. This movie is fucking awesome, and no one ever talks about it. I wouldn't quite put it in S tier or Turtle Power. I would put it in Cowabunga probably, and it has one of the greatest Leonardo and Raphael like fights or character interactions of any Ninja Turtles media. I mean, some have come close, but like that rooftop scene is just amazing. Just look up Leonardo Raphael TMNT 2007 fight on YouTube or something like that, and it's just it's so good. The rest of the movie is like the turtles themselves are really good. The people who play the turtles are really great and awesome. Nolan North plays Raphael, and Leonardo is played by someone else. Like they actually use like and Ninja Turtles have been pretty good about this, like with the movies and stuff when they're doing voiceovers and stuff. They never choose like all-star actors. Like a lot of the time, like look at the Marvel movie right now. It's like Chris Pratt, Anya Taylor-Joy, Jack Black. They aren't traditional voice actors or whatever. Whereas like these guys are traditional and professional voice actors, so that um, makes it more authentic because a lot of time with these celebrities voiceovers and stuff like that, like they don't really know how to voice act, and you could kind of tell with their performances. Not in this case. But yeah, it's just them battling a bunch of monsters and stuff. Really, that Raphael and Leonardo fight is so good. The animation is really good. I like the character designs as well. The art style and the art direction is fantastic. It's just kind of a step down because the plot of the movie is like, but everything else surrounding it is really really good. I was hoping they would make a sequel, and their sequel idea sounded cool, but that had come into fruition because the Emeg, I think it was called. I don't remember. Here's the company name that produced the movie went like bankrupt and blah. Blah, blah. But yeah, then we have the Michael Bay Ninja Turtles. It's bad. I don't like it. I don't like the character designs. The plot is dumb. Shredder looks like a giant can opener. Don't watch it. It's really terrible. I like. The thing is, I don't really remember what happens in the movie. It's just so forgettable. It's like forgettable and pointless. It's just not very good. Um, then we have the Game Boy edition of the 2003 Ninja Turtles. This game is hard, but it's so nostalgic to me. Um, it's fun but hard. It's like a beat 'em up kind of thing. I threw this in there just for nostalgia's sake. I'll put it in rad. I thought it was a pretty rad video game, and I remember struggling with the Donatello hand glider um, level that nearly made me cry. Um, and I would always forget the passwords and stuff like that to unlock where I left off. Yes, back then in the Game Boy, on some Game Boy Advance games, you had to remember a password. I don't know what age group this video even targets or whatever, but like if you're a small child, yes, we had to remember passwords back then. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a really good and fun game. You know what? Okay. Okay, I'll rearrange later, but let's put you in A. Let's put you down here. But let's put you like right here. Shredder's Revenge is like a return to classics. It's very inspired by Turtles in Time. I didn't put that on there because I have the Turtles Cowabunga collection, but I haven't gone through it in too much detail, so I don't feel comfortable in, you know, putting it on there. But I have played Turtles in Time and stuff, and this is like a spiritual successor to that. The art style is great. The combat is really fun and engaging. Overall, it's just a fun beat 'em up game. It does what it needs to do, and it gets out. The game's only like 3 hours long with one character. Yeah, no, but it's fun. It's very fun and engaging, and it's a return to classic beat 'em ups. Now we are finally into the comic books, and I thought I would start out with the two crossover ones and get into the mainline comic books. I feel like a lot of people don't care about the comic books, but if I put it at the start of the video, no one's gonna give a shit. So I put them at the end. So if you still stick around, thanks. So this is the first Batman and Ninja Turtles crossover, not the movie, the comic book again. I thought this was really well done. Yeah, okay, I gotta move this then. Um, it gets the comic book Batman character right. The turtles are really well written. And yeah, it's just fun to see like Ra's al Ghul and fucking Shredder team up. Like that is a team up that's awesome. I should have put it in the oh fuck. The Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers one are kind of on par with the first Batman and Power Rangers one. That one is really good as well. Fuck, I should have brought that. That would be in rad tier if I fucking put it on this list. Damn, I thought of everything. I knew I thought of, or I knew I forgot something. I fucking remember the 2003 Ninja Turtles game that I played as a kid, but not the fucking crossover. They're having a second one too. I haven't read anything from the second one, just seen artwork and it looks fantastic. But no, yeah, the Batman and Ninja Turtles crossover, that was sweet. That was like one of the best selling comic books and for DC at that time. And they made three. I've only read the first Batman Ninja Turtles crossover, but it's a lot of fun. Like if you're a Batman and Ninja Turtles fan, it is definitely for you 100%. Then we have the Batman slash, so technically four, I guess. Batman slash Ninja Turtles Adventures, which is based on Batman the Animated Series and the 2012 Ninja Turtles series coming together. So if you're a big fan of both those shows, like I am, I don't think it's better than the Batman and Ninja Turtles ones that are based on the comic book parts. This is a comic book in itself, but it's based on the TV shows, Batman the Animated Series and the Ninja Turtles 2012 one. I know I just said that, but I thought I'd just reiterate. And I guess the character is incredibly well. I forget who writes this, but like there's a lot of interesting and cool moments in here. But yeah, then we have the original Ninja Turtles run. I'll put this in A tier. It's not for everyone. It's very grim and dark. Just to give you a heads up, like Shredder dies in the very first episode, or in the very first issue of the Ninja Turtles. Basically, they beat Shredder. The Ninja Turtles beat Shredder, and Leonardo, I believe, or it's either Leonardo or Donatello. It's very hard because the comics are in black and white, so you have to go based off of like how how each turtle's character is, and how and what weapons they're wearing and stuff. Because again, they didn't have the color bandanas, so literally you could not tell them apart. But anyways, they hand him like a seppuku knife for him to kill himself. He's like, "No, I'm not gonna do that." And then one of the he tries to escape, I think with a smoke bomb or an explosive or something. Yeah, no, it was a grenade. One of the turtles pushes him off the side of the roof, and then he explodes. And then the insurer's like, "Hey, well done, we killed him." And yeah, it was super dark and edgy. That wasn't the entire Ninja Turtles run. I mean, it was mostly very dark and edgy because they were actual ninjas and they killed people and stuff. But like, there's that Michelangelo micro series where like each of the turtles got their own like one issue one offs where like Michelangelo it's during Christmas, and like that's just such a wholesome fucking thing. So it's not all doom and gloom, but the majority of that run is really really dark, but it's so fun and awesome. It's just classic comics too. Um, and it's classic Ninja Turtles. Then we have this one's cool, man. Um, it's now titled Ninja Turtles Urban Legends. But basically, it's so back in the 1990s, Image took over for Image Comics. That is, took over for the Ninja Turtles, and they turned Donatello into a cyborg. Raphael was Shredder for a little bit. Michelangelo was a little bit more edgy, and Leonardo was like a bastard. I've read this entire run, and it tries to tie into Volume 4 of the original Ninja Turtles run, and it's like, so basically what happened is like the series got canceled, right, from Image Comics, so it never had a conclusion. Then I believe in like 2018 or something like that, the original creators are like, do you guys want us to finish up the story, even though it's really hated? We'll finish it in like 4 issues, and they're like, sure, and they try to tie it back to where Volume 4 leaves off, and it doesn't do that well. But the reason why I don't put What the Shell, because it is pure Image in the 90s, and I'm a Spawn boy, you know. I love me some Spawn, and it's just, it's all about that too. It's so edgy and cool, man. So not from a practical standpoint, because I mean the plot is awful and everything else about it is really bad, but just for that, it's really an era of its time. It's like, Donatello's a nerd. We kind of don't like him that much. What do we do? How about we blow half of his body apart and put cybernetics in like part of him? Like, that'll be cool, right? It's like, oh my god, yes, dude, yes. It's so edgy. But yeah. And then last but not least, at the very top of Turd Power, that's right, is the IDW Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series. This is the best Ninja Turtles content still. Fuck, I forgot Last Ronin. God damn it. Last Ronin would probably be an A tier. Last Ronin is basically like the last Ninja Turtle story. Maybe I'll put like a little edited picture instead, because I don't have it right in front of me. Maybe I'll put a little edited picture instead. But Last Ronin is like, basically, 3 of the turtles died. I won't say who the last turtle is. He has like a black bandana. He carries all of their weapons, and he goes up against Shredder's like grandson or whatever. That one's really cool. It's like, what if there was the last Ninja Turtle, basically, like, or what if this was the last Ninja Turtle story? It's like Ninja Turtles mixed with the Dark Knight Returns, which is kind of a weird mix. The plot's not great and all, but like, it's just the concept is cool, and it's interesting to see which Ninja Turtle they pick. That's all I'll say about that. But anyways, okay. So the IDW Ninja Turtles is my favorite Ninja Turtle things ever. I remember first reading it, probably in college, and I just ate through it. I ate through those 100 issues like nothing. Well, I caught up to it like I think at like issue 83, and then I was reading it either monthly or bi-monthly. Um, I was just hugged. It's such a beautiful mixture of, and it's written by Kevin Eastman along with another writer, Tom something, not Tom King, but Tom something. And it's a reboot of the Ninja Turtles, and it's done incredibly well. It's not afraid to tackle dark issues, but also be fun and lighthearted as well. And like a million spin-offs come out in this fucking universe, and I haven't read all of them, but they're extremely fun. The villains are really fun. The Shredder's super threatening in this one. In fact, they have a mini series where well, that's a spoiler alert, but uh, let's just say like Shredder is awesome, and like where the characters they do really interesting thing with the characters. Like, what if this happened to one of the characters? You know, what if they became leaders of a certain organization and stuff like that? Like, it's so good and so cool, and the art is really good. It switches between artists frequently, but like all the art is fantastic. It's still ongoing. I read a little bit past the 100 issue run because after that, I think Eastman left, and there's some other creator right now. And there is a female Ninja Turtle, Jenka, I think her name is, or something, and she's pretty good. She doesn't, like, uh, tear tear apart the two original creators again, but Imperial really didn't have anything to do with that. But yeah, no, it's so good. It's fantastic. The first 100 issues are really good. I haven't read any of the new stuff, but I heard they're doing like a big event thing kind of thing. So maybe I have to catch up. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, that's it for my Ninja Turtles tier list. I missed two things that I probably should have put in here, that being Last Ronin and Ninja Turtles / Power Rangers. But I feel like this is a solid list. A little S tier heavy. I don't like to go S tier heavy usually, but fuck it. It's Ninja Turtles nostalgia power, baby. That's all it is. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Especially tuned into the live streams that I do every either Tuesday or Thursday with my friend Peter over at the Black Hudson YouTube channel. Check that out. You can see the VODs there and our videos there. But besides that, yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.